Hello guys, welcome back. I just had an experience that we've been talking lately about are gods real, do they contact us? Odin has just been after me, to pick up a certain label and put it on. And I'm like, okay, fuck it. I think like a heathen, I eat like a heathen. I have tendencies like one of Odin's children. I'm just going with this shit. So, the moment I started putting up heathen stuff on his board, he decided to celebrate. You could feel this warrior aspect of Odin. And I swear to the gods, I would not lie about the Allfather. I hear this really deep voice chanting in this strange language. I'm like, holy. And then I turned around because it's coming from like where the space heater is. But then it sounded like it went outside, and it sounded like there was a person inside and outside, like chanting this really deep masculine voice. And I'm like, and I even got up and went in there. I'm like, All Father? And I'm like wandering around. I'm like, okay. So that was really super intense. And I was like, yeah, if you follow Pinterest, I'll leave the Wicca stuff up, and I'll probably keep Wicca in the tags because I'll always be Wiccan friendly. I really don't care who works with the gods, but he's like, you're heathen. You're one of mine. You're mine, mine, mine. And when Odin's talking to you, you go, but Loki too, right? Who's Loki? Oh, father. Loki who? Your brother! I don't have a brother. I'm an only child. And I think I owe that to him because he's helped me through a lot. As you know, if you're going to take the title heathen or anything else, if you go out and find kindred, and I'm not there yet if I ever am, you have to find a group that's like gay friendly since I'm gay. And he's definitely gay friendly. In my personal experience, Odin is all about me going to the club and watching the dancers. And he doesn't care that I like both the dancers and the men. He couldn't care less. He's all about, hey, look, there's a deep discount on that adult entertainment pack you like. Let's go get that. He's all about that. He's never judged me on it. He's never said this is what you have to do to be a true heathen. I'm not going to judge other people, but there are groups out there, I'm sure you guys know, that like they give up sex, they give up alcohol, they give up caffeine. I'm not going to do that. I've always been very, again, yeah, primal's a good word. I've always been very primal. I used to fight like a berserker when I was a child. I would scratch and bite and kick and headbutt people. I loved headbutting people, and I've got a skull that's made out of titanium. I like head slamming people when I fight. People are like, you've lived an interesting life. I have, actually. And I think that's where the panic attacks were coming from, because I think I was going through a sort of ordeal because I wasn't admitting how closely bonded I am to Odin, and I wasn't admitting how closely I am bonded to our gods. Remember when I was coming up through, there were no Norse books in my area. There was Wicca, and that was it. You could be Christian or you could be Wiccan. Those were the only two flavors. We didn't have the interwebs and everything back then. And if people did talk about the Norse gods, it was offhandedly. I didn't have the luxury of growing up in a heathen family or pagan family or anything like people today. So that was really interesting. I mean, this voice was very deep, very masculine, very, lovely, alluring voice. And I'm like, I know that's Odin. So I guess he's happy. And I felt this, like, Odin dressed up in, like, armor and, like, that big bear hug he gives you when he's happy. So, yeah, that was the highlight of the night. We did go to the club, and the women have been worked on even more. There's now a lady from France. Ooh la la. So we like the club. We love the club. Unfortunately, it's like 13 degrees. So I have all my space heaters on. I jacked up the heat in the house, so I'm trying not to run everything as much because usually I try to keep it cool in here, but so I don't freeze to death, I got all the heat on. So yeah, life is good. We had fun doing that. I eventually will get to bed, but it's a weekend, so I let myself stay up to like 2 or 3 if I feel like it. But I just figured I would share that with you guys because I know the stuff today, some people would discount that and go, that was just the wind. Odin was getting revenge on me because before I went out and filmed for you guys, I was doing a meditation app to try to calm down, and I was just thinking about how some extremists get with our gods and the kind of monster they turn Odin into. And I had Odin in with me, and I said in exasperation it would be almost kinder to take our gods out in the field and put them out of their misery. He just started giving me side eye. And he goes, oh. And we like to listen to comedy skits together, and there's this comedy skit about humane you know, cattle slaughter. And he goes, are you gonna take me to Disney World first? Are you gonna let me hold my little teddy bear before you end me? And he was just looking at me. Then all the other gods come in, and everybody's giving me shit for it. But it's good-natured teasing. He knew what I meant. But he was having fun with it. He goes, I'm going to hold my little teddy bear, and then you're going to kill me. And Loki came in, how am I gonna die? How am I gonna die? And then he's like, you get this visualization of him dropping to his knees, screeching, what's in the box? What's in the box? So they had fun. They had a lot of fun. They were really, Odin's very happy now. I can tell he's very content. I was like, you know what? The hell with it. It's a label. I'm sure I'm gonna get shit from a lot of people. I'll still keep the Wicca label on the channel because, like I said, I really don't care what label anyone uses and then if they work with the gods. If you're suited to our gods, they'll call you. If you're not and you try to force them to work with you, you'll find out what they're like. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. I think it's going to be the first video I make that tag change on, so watch this shitstorm begin, but I probably shouldn't swear as much now that I'm using a title. But Odin was just so damn happy. I mean, if a warrior aspect of a god would cry happy tears, that was the moment. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Okay, you want me to call myself a heathen, all father? You want this? I will give this to you because, let's admit it, I have anger control problems. I go berserk every so often. I pretty much think, act, and live as a heathen. I'm very little, if anything, Wiccan. I can be peaceful, but I'm almost starting to think like it's more of a Vanir trait because I work with Lady Freya as well and Lord Freyr, and they'd been coming forward very heavily in the rune cards. And Baldur gets really shy. I've noticed when those two are around, Baldur's like kind of like shy and hanging back a little bit. So this is going to be interesting to see who ends up where. But well, we're here. I might as well tell you. I was thumbing through that Odin book, and they talked about, you know, like people in prison that get attracted to Odin, they join heathenry or Azatur or whatever they join. And they said they had a problem getting people to go in, getting heathens to go in that weren't racist to work with them, because one guy talked about his experience. He said he walked into a prison and he thought, well, I'll work with these people, tell them this is misguided, that not all heathens are racist. And he said he felt something. He felt something. He said he hesitated to call it the All-Father, but he said he could feel this very dark, very evil presence that was recruiting. And it was the only way he could say it was recruiting. And he said this presence was definitely hostile towards, you know, like certain groups, like, you know, Jewish people, Christian people, whatever. And he said this presence was just filled with hate. And he says, I have no idea if that was Odin, but he says, I didn't want any part of it. It didn't feel like any part of Odin I've ever dealt with, and he didn't want any part of it. And a lot of heathens for that reason will, you know, ones that work with Odin won't go into a prison for that reason. So that was fascinating to read, because they'll say they'll walk into that and they'll feel this presence, and they'll feel this really dark, malignant, violent presence. and they'll walk right back out because they're like, if that's Odin, that's not the Odin I recognize or would heal. So it was interesting. And we've done, the silly thing was I didn't want to pick up a new title for so long because you guys know I have the essential tremors, which means my whole body shakes. And for me to have like a horn to hail the gods would be not useful because, tremors, everything. I've always used like mugs, like you've seen the stein that I use for him and all the other stuff. Um, because that's practical and that's what I can use, and I'm usually not going to drop it, and I have my way to serve that it might not be a way that's written down on it as a true or heathen site, but it's the way that works for me. So I give them all due respect. They get offerings, get candles, incense, whatever else I think is to their pleasure. If they want me to play a certain game, or they want me to do this, or they want me to do that, as long as it's something I can carry out, they'll get it, and that's how I serve. So, I hope you guys like what you see. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.